to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. Thanks to every single person that is subscribed to this channel. Please go ahead and like and share the video, beloveds, especially like, so that it kicks in with those YouTube algorithms and more of our people get to hear the message. And special shout out to our Patreon family. We appreciate, love you for enabling us to continue to bring the message to the wider melanated audience. I've been getting a lot of questions about how do we raise our vibration, how do we keep our vibration raised, because a raised vibration is really how you start tapping into some of the downloads and different ideas, different healings, different powers, etc. It's really through raising your vibration, and that's how you get out of whatever situation you're in, because sometimes it's not so much about battling a situation where you are, but if you raise your vibration, which means raising your mind, spirit, and body to a new level by refined eating, by refined thinking, and really by spending more and more time in nature, you will find that some situations, some people, some negative aspects of your reality will just fall off. And before you know it, they're being replaced by new, beautiful things, beloveds. And sometimes it sounds as simple as ABC, but it really is that simple. That's why all the focus, when you see a world collapsing, when you see everything changing in your universe, it's not to go outside of yourself, but to go in, because all the answers are within you. And all the power you need is within you. We've been programmed and cultured to believe that somehow it's external. Everything we have to do, we have to fight for our freedom externally. We have to do this externally. We have to do that externally, when that is absolutely the furthest thing from the truth. So it's very important at this time to not only raise your vibrations, but do whatever you can to ensure that your vibrations remain at the highest level, especially with everything that's going on, beloveds. And it's so important. I've done so many videos on different dimensions of this, about how it's so important to keep your gates secure right now. Be careful what you're watching, what you're eating, what you're smelling, what you're listening to, where you're putting your attention. Be careful who you're touching. Like, seriously, it's that critical right now. But some of the things that we can do, physically, it's so important to eat the right foods, beloved. Refine your diet. There's people who have been contacting me about this negative experience and that negative experience and this demon chasing them and sleep paralysis. And really, a lot of it, and I did this I talked about this. There's a video called Don't Be Such a Cow. I'll try and attach it here, which talks about how these different things create clouds in you where these negative spirits can dwell, like low vibrating clouds. So refining your diet is so important, and then daily exercise. No matter how frustrated, depressed, whatever you feel, anxious, nervous, worried about the current circumstances, do some physical activity, beloveds, because as you work out the physical, your mental will also release some energy and work out. And you'll be able to really find a sense of peace. And physical could just be like cleaning your house, walking around your neighborhood. But some activity, beloveds, that preoccupies your body so that your mind can also process and is not attached to the body in terms of, flight or fight, etc. But it's so important. It's so important to get into deep breathing and meditation, beloveds. Make sure, you're breathing fully, because I think there's even research that shows that most of us don't even breathe. We're breathing at like 20-30%. So it's so important because that's part of the energy you need from, spirit. When you breathe in, you're breathing in spirit. And when you breathe out, it's like you're washing away all those things that need to be released. So, and it's so important. Contact with water, beloveds. Especially for me, I found like, especially after you get to a certain level, maintaining your vibration now becomes the main thing. And for me, one of the ways to maintain is water, getting in touch with water, especially trying to spend as much time by water, beside water, showering the morning before the light even comes out, before people are awake, and having that contact and communion with water, because all water is living and all water is connected. And water heals. We are 70% water or 75% water. So all of these things, beloveds, really taking care of your body, making sure you're getting the enough rest, because as you start this awakening process and you start to break down the matrix in your own mind, you may find that you're extremely sleepy, you're sleeping more often than normal, and then maybe sometimes you won't sleep as often as normal. So find ways, beloveds, to be in tune with where your soul is, where your spirit is, and what you need at that time, and don't judge yourself. Those are the physical ones. So before we take a break, let me get into some of the things that you could do spiritually. And I think spiritually, it's to start to script your own life, beloveds, to spiritually start to create what you see for yourself next. If writing is your gift, then you can script it. Although be very careful with scripting. I'll do a whole separate show on that, where you can literally, it sounds like what it means, writing your future, speaking out what you're going to see. Vision boards are very powerful. And also just spending time in silence. If prayer is your thing, or speaking to the ancestors, like they do speak to you. It sounds like an inner voice. It sounds sometimes like your own thoughts, but you'll be like, whoa, where did that thought come from? Probably an ancestor. And so it's really about spending as much time in nature, by big sacred trees, even small trees. Everything is alive. Spending as much time as you can in silence, having a routine of being in silence and allowing yourself to hear your inner universe, your inner voice. It's absolutely critical, beloveds. And then it's really good to clear your aura. It's not only this physical body that you're moving with. There are layers. There's your emotional body, your psychological body. These really exist. And clearing your aura is one of the most powerful ways to do it is spiritual baths. Swimming in a river or a lake. I mean, look into it, how to clear my aura. There's different stones you can use to clear your aura. There's even different movements you can use yourself, just symbolically, to clear any energy that might be attached to you. And, allow yourself to receive healing. Because we're in a mental world, beloved. So your healing will come mentally first before it reflects on the physical. Allow yourself to undergo mystical experiences. If it feels good and it resonates here, then trust it. Anyway, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. How you doing? How's everything going? Please go ahead and like and share this video, beloveds. I've been getting a lot of questions about how do we keep our vibrations high, as well as elevating them, raise our vibrations and keep them at a high level. Before we took the break, I talked about some of the physical and spiritual things that you could be doing. Sunbathing, taking in that sun gazing. Make sure you read up on how exactly to do that. These are all ways that you can boost your vibrations and increase your vibrations. But the most important focus that we need to give, beloveds, is to maintaining a high mental vibration. I know it's all interconnected, but we have to give almost double the attention to our minds, because right now the war we're facing is on our minds. It's an invisible war, beloveds. And it really depends on each and every person's self-will, self-esteem, self-confidence. I think I recently did a show on how your self-esteem and self-confidence will literally determine your decisions and your life moving forward. And a lot of people are going without all the information. So it's almost like moving in the dark and being asked to make some significant life choices. But the information is there if you search. And that's why we have to feed the mind and make sure that we're continuously raising the vibrations of the mind and sustaining the vibration that we attain. And there are many ways to do that, beloveds. But first of all, is to feed yourself a daily dose of the right information, the information that will keep you upbeat and uplifted and focused on creating, on creating your own story, your own reality. So whether it's being, whether it's taking in daily doses of different information, the information that makes you feel good and is actually like, it's like spiritual food, information about maybe if you're building an off-grid structure, how to do different things yourself, because those are the levels we're going to have to reach. But, absorbing and taking in that information that is constantly helping you to maintain your convictions and maintain the place, the decisions that you've made for your life. Because right now, to go against the status quo is going to be a revolutionary act. To stand for your own truth is going to be seen as a rebellious act. So, you have to have such a solid mind, beloved, and such conviction that what you're doing is right so that your mind can even protect you. This is not the season to have two minds. You have to be fully committed to either one path or the other. I mean, if you're going to be committed to Babylon, then be committed to Babylon 100%. But don't yo-yo. Be totally committed to, if you're totally committed to the awakening of our people and to your own awakening and your own transformation, then don't yo-yo on that, which means giving your mind the necessary food. It's so important to focus on the positive. I know people always say this, but really you attract what you think. So it's very important to, even when things, it's not to ignore the negative, but handle the negative quickly and make the positive the bigger chunk, if not the totality of your experience. So make sure that you're more happy than you are sad. And so that's focusing on positive things, focusing on the news that uplifts and makes you feel positive. And one of the ways to do it is to keep a gratitude journal, just every day write in there what you're thankful for. And you'll realize, regardless of your predicaments or how hard you see your life as right now, there are certain things that you can really, really be very grateful for. And so, keeping that. I also believe in affirmations, beloveds, especially as you're trying to win your mind. And those affirmations can be in your heart, or you can actually write them down. Some people put them on their mirror, or in their bathroom, or in their kitchen, on the, where they always pass, or by the entrance, so that those things can constantly just be mirrored into your mind and be downloaded into your mind, because we absorb absolutely everything in our environment. And also, it's really good for me, especially when I was trying to lift my vibration, it was really important for me to read inspirational stuff. And what I found, even some of these motivational preachers, although, wouldn't be able to listen to them now, but what I found is just that constant affirmation that I am great. I've come from a lineage of greatness. I'm not here by accident. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Listening to those kind of messages kind of rewired my mind, beloveds. And that's one of the most important processes right now, is the rewiring of our minds. I think also another one is to spend a lot of time in nature, because nature is just so healing, and nature is constantly positive. It's man who makes nature negative, but if you're looking for positivity, nature is constantly positive. Be careful what you're listening to, beloveds, and make sure you're listening to uplifting music. And uplifting music doesn't have to be all bed of roses. It could be revolutionary music like Fela or something that just has a certain vibration to it that keeps you, keeps you fired up, if I can say that. And I always find, like, especially if you tap into your creativity, I'm just jumping from one to another. If you tap into your creativity and you really start to pursue, like, what can you make with your hands? What are you a writer? Are you a poet? And you indulge in that and spend time in that. That is another way to really continue to keep high mental vibrations, beloveds. And I think it's also so important to live a balanced life, especially now. Do everything in moderation, beloveds. Disconnect from Babylon, become more and more self sufficient. Because a lot of you see the anxiety that you're feeling because there's alarm bells going off. And that anxiety that you're feeling, you may interpret as a negative thing, but it's just your ancestors and your spiritual team trying to say, yo, wake up, it's time. You need to start moving. And so if you concentrate on maintaining a high vibration, keeping a high vibration, beloveds, then that anxiety will dissipate. And part of keeping that high vibration is action, acting on the visions and dreams that you're having right now. Even if it seems larger than life, even if the spirit is telling you, move halfway across the country to some remote island somewhere, or move back to Africa, whatever it is, even if it seems larger than you right now, that's where your focus needs to be, because your mind is larger than what you're using it for right now. Remember, we live in a mental world. And so to conquer us, they have to conquer our minds. And they're this close before the world ends. So stay strong, stay uplifted. Tuko pamoja.